Good morning. My task, I'm Mr. Live Anga, and I would like to discuss what is the remainder when 2021 raised to the power of 2022 is divided by 13. So to understand my presentation later on, let's look at these two examples. So for example, we have 6 squared divided by 13. We know that the remainder is 10. Why? Because 36 divided by 13 is remainder 10. When you have 6 cubed, which is 216 divided by 13, the remainder is 8. Now, look at this. If we're going to multiply 6 squared times 6 cubed divided by 13, the remainder is 2. If we are going to multiply also 10 times 8 divided by 13, the remainder is also 2. How about if we are going to add? When we are going to add 6 squared plus 6 cubed divided by 13, the remainder is 5. When we're going to add 10 plus 8 divided by 13, the remainder is also 5. Is this a coincidence? That if we're going to add 6 squared, this one, plus this one, the remainder is the same as this one, the sum of that? No, that is true. And if we're going to multiply also 6 squared and 6 cubed divided by 13 both, the same, we arrive with the same, which is the remainder of 2. Actually, this is an ancient mathematics and arithmetic, and it is called modulo. So let's define the modulo n. So we write if A is congruent to B modulo n, actually tatlong equal sa yan siya. Ang ibig sabihin nito that A is congruent to B modulo n, it means A minus B is divisible by n. So for example, we have 6 squared. We know that the remainder of that is 10. So we write 6 is congruent to modulo 13. To write that one, we have 6 squared over 13. The remainder is 10. Of course, the quotient is 2. So we write here 6 squared as the dividend. And then here we write the remainder. And here we write the divisor. So this is the remainder. This is the divisor. And this is the dividend. Okay. So with that, we can also say that the 6 squared minus 10 is divisible by 13. So it's 26 divisible. And 6 squared and 10 have the same remainder, which is 10. So second, if A is congruent to B modulo n and B is congruent to C modulo n, then A is congruent to C modulo n. So how are we going to? This one is a transitive property. Suppose we have 2021 squared is congruent to 6 squared modulo n, 13. And alam natin na ang C squared ay 36. So 6 squared is congruent to 10 modulo 13. So we know that 2021 squared is, kung i-divide natin yan, i-minus na natin 36, that is divisible by 13. And 36 minus 10 is also divisible by 13. So therefore, we can say by this property that 2021 squared is congruent to 10 modulo 13. That is by transitive property. It's a chain. Similarly, if we're going to multiply both sides, then that is equivalent also. So for example, we know that 2021 is congruent. Kung i-divide natin na siya sa 13 actually, ang atong remainder ay 6. So if we're going to multiply 2021 times 2021, that is congruent to 6 times 6 modulo 13. And we know that 6 times 6 is congruent to 10 modulo 13. Therefore, we can say that 2021 squared is congruent to 10. So, lalabas pa rin ito. So, kung mag-multiply tayo both sides, we know that 2021 is congruent to 6. So, kung i-double natin ang 2021 dito, i-double din natin ang 6 dyan. That is the property. And if we're going to do the squared, we can also do the squared. That is this property that if we're going to multiply square this one, squared, pwede. If we're going to square the square also, so for example, we cube that one, that is also allowed. If we're going to add 2021 plus 2021 is equivalent to 6 plus 6 modulo n. Oh, that's it. So, those are the property, and this is very important because that will be used on our presentation. So say for example, we have 2021 raised to the power of 2022 is divided by 13. We have to note that 2021, when we divide it by 13, how to do that one? 2021 divided by 13. Then ang quotient, of course, may ano yun sa mga point-point. So ang whole number, i-minus nimo sa whole number. So ang remainder, mauna tong may point. So i-times nimo 13 and the answer is 6. Modulo 13, of course. So, this one is very important because whatever na ating ilalagay dito as an exponent is also the exponent of this 6. But the most intriguing part is, kailangan talaga nating hanapin saan doon ang 1 modulo 13. Because the 1 there is any number multiplied by 1 is equal to that. Doon tayo maghahanap ng kung saan. So, to do that one, let's do the 6. Since 6 is our remainder, then we can have 6 to the power of 1, that is, of course, a remainder as 6, divided by 13. 6 squared, of course, ang remainder ay 10. Tama? 6 cubed. So, kung titingnan natin, 60, of course, the remainder is 8. 6 to the 4th, pwede na tayo dito. 6 to the 4th is 100. So, that is, the remainder is 9. 6 to the 5th. 6 to the 5th, pwede na tayo dito. We add, of course, 18. The remainder is 2. Yeah. 6 to the 5th. No. We multiplied, of course. We multiplied kasi hindi pwedeng 80 yan. Okay. Then, 6 to the 6, pwede nating gamitin itong 6 squared and 6 to the 4th. Okay, we multiplied. So, that is 90. So, the remainder is 12. 6 to the 7. Okay, when you say 6 to the 7, there are a lot of combination. Pwede itong 6 to the 6 at saka 6 to the 1. 6 to the 7, the remainder is 7. When we have 6 to the 8, the remainder is 6 to the 8, pwede dito. 6 to the 4 times 6 to the 4th. So, kung 81, the remainder is 3. Okay. Then, 6 to the 9. Ang 6 to the 9, the remainder is 5. Of course, pwede natin gamitin ito, 6 to the 4th and 6 to the 4th. Of course, 9 times 2 is 18. So, that is remainder 5 divided sa 13. So, 6 to the 10, of course, that is equivalent to 4. 6 to 11, that is congruent to 11, ang remainder niya. 6 to the 12, ang kanyang remainder ay 1. If we're going to go back 6 to the 13, the remainder is 0. And we also note that when we divide a number by 13, ang possible remainder niya ay 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 12 lang. Kasi kung mag 13 siya, ang remainder 13, hindi po allowed yan because ang remainder must be less than the divisor, of course. Okay, the remainder of that. So, it means kung i-divide sa 13, magbalik siya sa 0. Kasi ang remainder ng 13 divided 13 ay 0. Pag 14, babalik ng 1. Okay, and so on. So, it means ito ang kailangan natin because that is the most important one. And we have to note that if this is 12, then we have a 1 here. So, it must be divisible to the 12. So, by that, we have 2021 raised to the power of 12, which is congruent to 1 modulo 13. So, 2021 raised to the power of 12 is congruent to 1 modulo 13. Okay, which is very important. Now, para makaabot tayo ng 2022, that means we divide 2022 divided by 12. And by that, the remainder is 6. So, it means, may sobra tayo nga 6. So, what is that? Okay. So, that is, i-add natin siya dito. Okay. So, it means that is raised to the power of, ano kaya, times, okay, 2021 raised to the power of 6. Ano bang ilalagay natin dyan? Okay. B, 2022 divided by 12. The answer is 168. So, it means raised to the power of 168. Huh? That is congruent to 1 raised to the power of 168. Okay, times. Mag-multiply tayo ng ganito para ma-complete ang 2022. So, 2021 raised to the power of 6 modulo 13. Okay? So, this is equivalent to is equivalent to 2021 raised to the power of 6 modulo 13. Now, ang 2021 raised to the power of 6, it means nag-square tayo 6 dito. Nag-raise tayo to the 6. So, that is 6 here. Okay? So, this is equivalent to 6 to the 6 modulo 13, which is congruent also to 12 modulo 13. So, by transitive property, we can say that 2021 raised to the power of 2022 is congruent to 12 modulo 13. I hope naintindihan ninyo. That's all. So, the remainder is 12.